Hello, good afternoon once again, mga Enticians. I'm really so glad to be with you this afternoon. And this is day 4. We are at our day 4 of our SOAST week. SOASTigin, ang Sarili, Bayan, at Kinabukasan. This is now our PM session. And I'm really glad that each and every one of you was with us even during our lunchtime. Parang hindi bumababa ang energy levels ng ating mga Enticians. Ang dami pa rin nakikinig doon sa ating stream. I hope you were able to enjoy the streams given to us by our DJ. Yan. Shout out daw kay DJ for the wonderful stream during our lunchtime. And I know a lot of you are writing down your attendance. But before we formally start our program, para lang mag-settle down tayo and to get things going, gusto ko ganito gawin nyo. Lagay nyo sa chat nyo ha. I-describe natin ang ating mood for this afternoon. But I want you to describe your mood this afternoon sa pamamagitan ng ulam. O take note ha. Hindi yung ulam ninyo kanina. Kailangan i-describe ninyo ang inyong mood sa pamamagitan ng ulam. Kunwari, sabihin ko, ako ay kare-kare dahil kompleto ang ayun ang nararamdaman ko ngayon. Ang dami-daming iba't ibang mga flavors and textures. Sige nga, ang dami pang naglalagay ng mga attendance eh. Pakisulat naman very quickly sa chat kung ano ang inyong pakiramdam and describe it using yung inyong ulam. Yan, may nagsamasagot. Pancake, kaldereta, sinigang, lumpia. Bakit kaya lumpia? No? Bakit kaya sardinas? Ang kanilang wow, Bicol Express ng kanyang mood. Siguro very hindi ko naman mainit ang ulo ngayon. Yan, halo-halo daw ang kanyang mood ngayon. Tuyo, nako. Mood mo, okay. Sana ma-excite tayo ng ating topic for today. Adobong baboy naman, okay. Siomai, wow, siomai parang nasa steamer. Siguro dahil sa init ng ating panahon. So thank you sa inyo mga feedback. We are slowly building up our viewership on Zoom. We're up at 240, around 240. And please tell your friends. We are also streaming live via YouTube at the NTC official page on YouTube. So for those of you who were at Facebook a while ago, we're still experiencing some technical difficulties with Facebook. So you can invite your friends. Please do invite your friends to watch us as well on the official channel of the National Teachers College on YouTube, because we are in for a very exciting and very wonderful topic this afternoon. But of course, as we start our program, we will always start that by calling on the presence of our Lord in this activity.
The waters of my soul,
right. We'd like to thank the site Chorale for that wonderful rendition of Ask the Deer to lead us in this afternoon's event. So, for the past few days, we've been talking about how we're going to do many, many things. We've talked about research, we've talked about data, we've talked about data mining, we've talked about voters' education, we've talked about many, many other things that would help us help our society, help us as students. But right now, one of the things that we would like to also develop in you, our dear students, as a way by which you can grow personally, is also to be able to manage your finances properly. This is a skill that a lot of us, are having struggles with, and most of the time, this is one area of our lives that we've been having some difficulties with, especially for us Filipinos. And we're very, very glad, we're very, very privileged to have a special guest to talk to us about this particular topic. He is a thespian. Yan. Sana pala nakasama din siya with our other activities last time. No? He's a thespian, a painter, an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and a lifelong learner. Jabar Esmael is a man whose tenacity has allowed him to live his life in pursuit of his passions. Known dearly to his loved ones as Bayan, our speaker finished his undergraduate studies in psychology at the Pamantasang Lungsod ng Maynila System and his graduate studies in business administration at the University of Makati. He also pursued various certificate courses such as NLP coaching, OCCI leadership, PSI training, and informatics plus web design. Very, very well-rounded and very, very talented indeed. Jabar Orban was once part of the Rotary Club of Makati, Pio del Pilar. He's also currently taking his master's in developmental psychology at the University of Perpetual Health System in Laguna. He's also an active HIV awareness advocate and a mental health advocate as well. And recently, he was part of the HIV program under the Pilipinas Shell Foundation and as an area regional coordinator and also now a unit manager at ManuLife Philippines. He has been a life coach and a financial consultant for more than 10 years now. Dear students, teachers, friends, and guests, it's my pleasure to introduce and to turn the floor over to our speaker, Mr. Jabar Esmael. Jabar, bang, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judel. Maraming salamat for that wonderful introduction. I'm deeply honored and grateful for being with you this afternoon. And I'm truly blessed and nakaka-nostalgic lang kasi yung feeling because I'm also a graduate of the secondary school. No, I'm a high school graduate of National Teachers College way back. Don't ask what year, okay? So I'm really honored to see a lot of students right now and even faculties. Maraming salamat also for your stamina, after the lunch. I know this is kind of a challenging afternoon because paghapon talagang, all of our carbohydrates, lahat ng kinain natin kanina, tinatanong mo, express how are you feeling right now in terms of the ulam that you've just taken, and nakita ko nagutom ako uli. That's why I'm just taking coffee right now para lang mawala uli yung appetite ko and just focus on my presentation today. So Judel, to everyone, thank you so much. We are 303 in the room. Today, what I'll be sharing to you guys is just a very practical presentation about financial literacy. And I'm just happy that schools right now are really evolving and they're really trying to delve into this topic that I think is very much helpful to better equip our graduates, as you go to the world outside. Sabi nga nila, it's a jungle out there. So it's really important that we have enough resources, financially speaking, so that we'll be able to, do more things to the community. Because finance is very important in our lives. Even foundation like Filipina Shell Foundation, ABS-CBN Foundation, which I work with closely, they still need finance, to fund their projects and programs. So, but at this time around, what we're going to talk about very practically and very sweet and short is, I hope that in my presentation, It's all about personal finance, okay? And how to gauge when it comes to our financial literacy. Nasan ba tayo? Are we high, medium, low? Nasan tayo? No judgment. This is going to be a safe space for each and everyone. Is that okay? Can I just have a heart icon down below or a thumbs up if you can still hear me loud and clear? Pwede po ba makingin? Ayan, there you go. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everybody, for all the hearts and the thumbs up if you're still with me. Kasi one of the challenges of a virtual platform discussion talaga and seminar is I don't see everybody, kaya nga mas gusto ko live. But nevertheless, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are very much interested with the topic right now. So let me just share with you. Let me just share with you my presentation, my screen. So today is going to be about financial literacy 101. Okay. As I share to you my screen, whoops, let me just close. There you go. So I'd like to start my presentation by saying a quote that financial ignorance is expensive. Do you agree? You can type down your reaction. You can just click the icons down below, heart or thumbs up if you're agreeing. Financial ignorance is very expensive, and a lot of the people, especially the generations before us, weren't able to really discuss and delve into. Sometimes it's a taboo, diba, pag pinag-uusapan ng pera or finances. And to many, it's kind of a boring thing. So that's why this afternoon, I would like to first thank you for your stamina and for staying with me all throughout the course. I hope you hang on with our discussion up until the end of the presentation. But before we dive into our financial literacy 101 today, later on in the end, I'll be sharing to you a bonus presentation. So hang on in there. So I hope that you continue to participate and just to turn on your undivided attention with me. Is that okay? Is that cool? All right. Thank you. So first of all, I'd like to identify or to define first what is financial literacy. Okay, according to Investopedia, financial literacy is the ability to understand and effectively apply various financial skills, including personal financial management, budgeting, and investing. In other words, no, let me just filter that. Financial literacy means how are you doing in terms of your finances, diba? In terms of our budgeting, are we just meeting both ends, making both ends meet? Are we just scraping around, or are we living the kind of life that we desire and we dream of? And so it's very important. It's very important that in order for us to know how financially literate we are, let's try to identify what are the factors, ano yung mga elements na importante to help us become more aware and to have a clear perspective of how financially literate we are right now in our present state. Sabi nga ni Lord Kelvin, if you cannot measure it, then you cannot improve it. Correct? I believe in the philosophy of us continuously growing. No, there has to be growth. That's why nag-aaral nga tayo lahat eh. And when it comes to financial literacy, financial management, it's important that we measure also our financial literacy. So let's dive into these 5 elements or 5 factors that I'll be sharing to you. But a little disclaimer, by the way, some of the things that I'll be sharing to you this afternoon are actually not the absolute, okay? These are not at all absolute at all, because these are just an amalgamation or a accumulation of all the best practices I did over the past 10 years. I too, when I graduated, I remember, I can see some red drawings right now. I too, when I graduated, no, I have no idea on how to better handle my finances as well. Even my family don't know, are not discussing it, diba? So let me just share to you the first element that we have to factor in when it comes to financial literacy. Of course, it's very important for somebody to have a financial plan. Do you agree? Thumbs up kayo dyan or heart icon kayo dyan if you agree, or just keep on reacting on the chat box. Financial planning to some could be also a taboo or something that they would to veer away. Bakit? Because ano bang ipaplano natin? Ano bang ibabudget natin? Well, it depends. You will always have something to plan on your finances. But I do believe that in order for you to actually face it on, have a head-on financial plan to your personal finances, there has to be some dreams. In other words, if we're going to ground it more so, there has to be some goals. Agree? Kasi if you don't have dreams or goals, then what's the point, diba, of having a financial plan to fund all of these dreams? Whatever dreams, whatever goals, walang basagan ng trip, diba? So it's really important for somebody or for an individual to have a dream or a goal. A goal is something that there's a fine line, by the way, between dreams and goals. Dreams can be something that is blue sky thinking, a figment of your imagination. But a goal is something that you put a deadline into it so that you'll achieve it. So let's focus on that. So basically, one important thing that we have to consider in creating a goal in our lives is to be more specific, or part of the SMART goal, diba? The first S is the specific. So for example, if when you graduate or you start becoming part of the professional world of the majority of the workforce, diba? And then we started to dream, gusto natin magkaroon ng perhaps bahay, kotse, or what have you. You have to be really specific kung ano yung goal na yan. Is it a duplex kind of a house, or is it a modern type of house? Anong interior niyan? Okay? Pati sukat, ilalagay nyo yan. Because these elements are actually part of the financial planning, because everything has a cost. Correct? Agree. So, ano ba yan? Marami bang halaman yan? Sang lugar yan? Ano ang halaga ng lupa sa specific na area na to? Diba? Those things, you have to be really specific. Otherwise, it will just pass by. Magugulat na lang kayo, 10 years has passed, 20 years has passed, hindi ko na-achieve yung mga goals ko. So it's very important because time is limited, sabi nga nila, which is one of our actually limited resources is time, which later on we'll discuss about it. So if you are, again, going back to your goals, there has to be specific. If it's a car, then anong klaseng car ba yan? Is it brand new? Is it second hand? What color? What brand? Because everything has a cost. If it's a money goal, okay, if it's a money goal, and it's also important for you to try to begin with an end in mind. When I say begin with an end in mind, ano yung pinaka-end result nito? Using your visualization, your how you envision it. And then you break that down. You break that down. Let's say, for example, if you want to be a millionaire in 5 years, di ba? Napakabilis. Gusto mo maka-achieve ng savings, or in your bank account, there has to be a 1 million money goal that you want to be part of your bank account. So, ibig sabihin, you have to earn, if it's 5 million, let's say, for example, if it's 5 million, so every year, dapat meron kang 1 million na income. Break that down into 12 months, so dapat meron kang at least around 80,000. Every month. You break that down every week. So magkano na yun? Do the math. And then daily. So perhaps dapat meron kang most likely at least 1,000 every day or more. Something to that effect. You break that down. You begin with an end in mind, be more specific, and then you lay it down. Same thing goes with your financial plan. Every goal has to be funded, and so therefore there has to be a financial plan. Because financial planning will propel you, okay, to ground yourself and to check on your finances, your cash flow, the money that is coming in and the money that is coming out. Siyempre may expenses tayo. Hindi mawawala yan. Hindi lang naman pasok ang pera. Umiikot ang pera. So again, specific. And then in also grounding your goals, there has to be time frame. Time frame. If you agree on it, I need to see some thumbs up again, no? So there has to be time frame. Everything should have a deadline, of course, for you to achieve that goal. Otherwise, it's just a fly-by-night dream. Magpapass by lang yan. So time frame is very important. Gaya na lamang sa pag-aaral natin, diba? If we're taking a 4-year course, of course, it's a 4-year course. So definitely in 4 years, dapat tapos ka na. Hindi naman pwedeng 10 years mo siyang tatapusin as much as you can to be more cost efficient also para sa mga magulang din natin. There has to be some time frame. The same thing goes with our goals. The same thing goes with our dreams, okay? In our money goal as well, there has to be some time frame. Otherwise, it will not push our own boundaries, push the envelope, and be more creative in achieving it. Okay, creativity is part of financial literacy, in fact. Okay, so time frame or timeline is very important. Next, in doing so, now that you have planned out what is your goal, what is your time frame, and then check on your resources. When it comes to resources, okay, the first resource that you have to check on is, of course, to know, to see the cash flow of your current job, yung income mo. Okay? So later on, we're gonna try to break that down. No? Yung current job mo, how much are you earning that neto, diba? And then also, part of checking on the resources for you to fund those goals and those dreams of yours, what are your other active income job? Nowadays, di ba, sabi nga ng mga expert, hindi na uso ang isang trabaho lang. A lot of people are really accommodating more than one job. Why? Because if you only have one source of income, then it will be definitely be impractical for you to achieve your goal. Kasi when we set a goal, di ba, dapat big, hairy, and audacious. So, check on your other active income. Marami ngayon nakikita ko online sellers and everything. Those could be part of your resources as well. Okay? And then another one is also when it comes to resources is your checking on your passive income. Passive income, there is a discussion later on, which is actually part of the 5 elements or factors for us to gauge how financially literate we are. So passive income, these are the sources of your income wherein you don't really have to work that hard or you don't have to work actively for you to earn. Marami yan. Later on, we'll discuss it. So these are just some of your resources, and not to mention, of course, the time. Time is our resources. Lahat naman tayo 24/7. So time management will also play a part when it comes to achieving your goals. So that is part of your financial planning. All right. So the next element, I hope you're still with me, guys. No, mabilis lang to. No? The next element or the next factor that we should be considering for us to gauge if we are financially literate is magkano na ba naiipon ko? Diba? Savings. Ayan. What is savings? Savings simply refers to any income that we do not spend and put aside or money we put away. In other words, savings, ito yung pera na kukurutin natin sa income natin. Okay? Kung hindi man kurot, pwedeng dakot, no? Depende yan sa laki ng income mo, kung anong pumapasok na pera sa'yo. And then, you're not going to use that. You're not going to spend that. You just put it there. Hayaan mo lang siyang, i-park mo lang siya for a certain period of time. Why? Because that will be part of whatever expenditure that you want to use that for whatever purpose. Now, according to experts, when it comes to savings, when you save something, in order to say that you have a healthy form of savings, your savings should be at least equivalent to your 3 to 6 months income, monthly income. Why? So say, for example, you're earning 20,000 relatively every month. So that would mean you should have enough 60,000, that's 3 months, or perhaps 120,000 set aside, because that will serve as your emergency fund as well. What kind of emergency? Pwedeng for hospitalization or whatever reason. Pwedeng because of catastrophe, you need to pull that money, or tuition fee for the future of your kids, perhaps, diba? Or emergencies whatsoever. It has to be 3 to 6 months. Now, why 3 to 6 months? But hindi pwedeng 8 months, but hindi pwedeng 1 month. Well, that is the ideal. Because let's say, for example, during pandemic, marami sa workforce ang nawalan ng trabaho. Correct? Agree? Marami ang nawalan ng trabaho, and it was unprecedented. Maraming nagkagulatan. And if you're the type of person who doesn't save at wala kang naitabi kahit paano, at least 3 to 6 months equivalent of your monthly income, then it will be difficult for you to cope, diba, with a situation like the pandemic. That even if you lose a job, if you have enough money there, like 3 to 6 months, that will save you to look for another job. Hindi naman natin hahayaan ang ating mga sarili na mawalan ng trabaho. Correct? We still look for a job for us to be able to sustain our cost of living, our lifestyle, and to be able to achieve our dreams. And of course, pay the bills. So that is the logic behind it. There has to be at least 3 to 6 months equivalent of your monthly income. Okay? Now, when it comes to savings, just to add more value to it, I normally advise this to my team and also to my clients, because I've been working with the insurance industry for almost 10 years na rin, no? the 20-50-30 rule. What is this 20-50-30 rule? Perhaps some of you already heard about it. So the 20-50-30 rule pertains to 20% of your income goes to savings, automatic. Pwedeng savings plus tithe, 10% savings, 10% tithes. Depende sa'yo how you budget it. But this is just a generic recommendation. Now, the next 50% would now go to your expenses. Why is it that big? Of course, dahil malaki na rin ang gastusin natin ngayon. Not to mention, di ba, the spike of the oil price hike just recently because of the Ukraine-Russia war. Remember, we are global right now. Whatever happens outside of our country, there is a direct effect on our economy. And so therefore, on our economic household as well, our personal finances. Ang kuryente ngayon, pumapalo, in my case alone, pumapalo siya ng 3 to 5,000. Dadalawa lang kami dito, aalog-alog tatlo. 'Di ba? So tumataas talaga siya. Noong bata ako, hindi umaabot ng 100 ng kuryente ko for some reasons because of inflation. So a bulk of our income definitely goes to our expenses. All right? And then the remaining 30 would of course be part of your reward for yourself, your wants. So this is in order, 20-50-30 rule. Automatic 20% goes to your savings, then pay your obligations, and then the remaining, kung may 30% na matitira, that will be part of your wants or rewarding yourself. Okay? Are you still with me? Thumbs up lang po or heart if you're still with me. Thank you. And this is not the other way around, guys. This should not be not the other way around. Kasi madalas ang ginagawa natin, 30-50-20. 30% bili kagad dito ng mga gusto natin. 50 goes to our bills and obligation. At kung may matira, savings na lang po yun. Wag. It will be very challenging for you to build that habit of savings. Dapat may savings habit tayo. Otherwise, time will pass. 10 years after, 20 years after, or you reach your retirement, saan napunta lahat ng pinagtrabawan ko? Down the drain lahat. Okay? Again, this is not to judge, of course, our habits, but this is just to perhaps give ourselves a fair chance to correct some of our behaviors in terms of money and how we handle our finances. Okay? Next. Now, after financial planning, checking on the goals, the dreams that we want, and how we lay that down, and then checking on our resources, our savings, and how we're going to fund that. The next factor that I'd like you to consider is your passive income. Gaya nga ng nasabi ko, di ba? Right now, hindi na uso ang isang trabaho na lang. Many of us would go for sideline sa gabi, in Hollywood, di ba, madalas you'll hear the story of Hollywood stars when they were starting. They started with being a waiter or waitress in the afternoon, then a bartender or barista in the evening, 3 to 4, 2, 3, even 4 jobs, di ba, ang ginagawa nila, may weekend pa sila. And it's also important to consider that not all jobs should be active. Ibig sabihin, paghihirapan. There is a thing called passive income. And what is passive income? Passive income means earning money even if you're not literally working for it. Pwede ba yun? Of course, pwede. I'm pretty sure you've heard this, you've seen this, you've watched this on some YouTube video. Passive income is something that will allow your money to work for you instead of you work for money. And definitely, it will take some time for you to reach that level. So it's earning, again, like what I've said, even while you are asleep. So one source of passive income could be, having your rentals. Of course, this could be part of your goal kanina, di ba? In order for you to achieve this level na meron kang rentals or paupahan, of course, you have to work for it first. Okay? Rental could be residential, right? You buy a condo, you buy a house or a lot and convert it into a residential renting business. Okay? And that could be a passive income for you, definitely, because even if you're not working, automatic yan, katapusan, yung tenant mo, magbabayad sa'yo. And again, it takes time and effort for you to actually build. Unless you have a rich parent na may mamamana kang paupuhan. That would be interesting and that would be nice, right? And another form of rental could be in the form of commercial. commercial lots or commercial facility, a lot, if you can see here in Metro Manila, most especially, you see a lot of 3-story building, 4-story building, and then every floor, di ba, may mga businesses. It could be a clinic, it could be like what you see here, a food stall perhaps, maybe. So this could be a commercial rental passive income for you, because again, every month kikita ka dyan. Okay, so this could be a form of your passive income, a source rather of your passive income. So aside from rentals, of course, putting your own business, whatever business that you want to put, okay, sky's the limit. Kung saan, if you understand yourself enough for you to know your passion, your talent, your strength, then perhaps you could use that and turn it into a business. Diba? I've seen a lot of young people really using their gifts and talents and sell it online. Diba? Ang swerte nga natin ngayon, we have online platform and we don't even have to pay for it. We can just use our talent, our connection, just sell whatever we want to sell. That could be another form of passive income, because eventually when your business is operating on its own already, then you don't have to go to your business every day 8 to 5, diba? You let it work for you. That is money working for you already. Passive income can also be in the form of investments. Okay, investments. So another some of the sample of passive income in terms of business and investment could also be paid book royalties. If you become a writer, perhaps later on, like the J.K. Rowling, who made it very big when it comes to being a writer, diba? J.K. Rowling, if you're familiar with Harry Potter, agree, diba? Is the richest, the billionaire, the richest writer in the world, the first billionaire writer, and he's just earning from her royalties. Diba? Ganun kalaki. So if you make it that big, then that could be part of the source of your passive income. And then in the form of investments, eventually, as you try to study finance, personal finance and business finance, then you can actually delve into the stock investment, bonds investment, and receive your dividends and your earnings. Okay, so it could be in a form of, you could go to a brokerage, perhaps you could hire somebody to help you allocate your money, yung mga pera ninyong, yung mga savings niyo mas mapalaki niyo. Ang tawag doon, papaikutin na natin yung pera niyo. So in the form of stocks or bonds or dividends. And even there are other insurances, later on we'll discuss it, that could allow you also to earn and to have higher interest than what banks can give and can offer. Now, when it comes to investments, by the way, guys, there is a rule of thumb. And the rule of thumb in investment is high risk, high returns, low risk, low returns. In other words, pagdating sa business, pwedeng you can make it big or pwede kang malugi. Ganun din sa investments. But without risk, then there's no return. Okay? With higher risk, then there is high return, definitely. So, depende yan sa risk appetite ninyo. If you're a risk taker, that's another discussion altogether. Then you could perhaps, use your savings or your passive income to create more income that will work for you. Okay. When it comes to passive income, guys, it takes a lot of effort, and also you have to invest time for it. Okay? Hindi yan yung parang, madalas sinasabi ng mga magulang natin, one of the not so good program that some of our parents would tell us, ano to, namimitas lang ako ng pera sa puno at ibibigay sa'yo. Ganun din sa business, no? It takes a lot of time, effort, creativity, and resources for you to be able to build that business and for you to be able to invest money in certain investment platforms. It could be stocks, or it could be, other investment products. And passive income, like your business, could also be a source of your income when you retire. Because over time, remember guys, over time, maswerte kayo, bata pa kayo, you could take a lot of risk because you could recuperate, over time. Wala pa kayo sa 20s, I'm already in my 40s, so yung risk ko bumababa na. So, the younger you are, I would suggest you take risk in terms of if you want to put a business, go ahead, don't be afraid to fail. It's part of the journey. Because eventually, when you fail, you learn from it and then you become wiser. You become more equipped in your finances. And eventually, that will be a source of your income, eventually, for your retirement. The business that you will put up, all of those investments. I remember when it comes to investment, by the way, the shares of stocks of Jollibee back in 2020, the first lockdown, remember that? Per unit ang Jollibee, parang if I'm not mistaken, bumibenta siya ng per unit sa stock sa 300 per units, more or less, diba? But when lockdown came, hindi lumabas sa mga tao, bumagsak ang units niya, ang price niya, magkano? If you have an idea, nasa around 80 more or less, diba? Bumaba siya ng more than 300%, 200% yung kanyang unit share. So people who are good in stock market, alam nila, when the price is low, you buy units, correct? So lahat nagbili yan. Lumabas ang tao ng August, tumaas si Lebo, kumain sa labas, kumain sa Jollibee, tumaas ang units per share niya, bumalik sa 200 plus, and so therefore, kumita yung 80 pesos per unit nila. So kung ilan yung units na binili mo sa shares mo, let's say for example, bumili ka ng 100 shares, 80 pesos times 100 times 200 times plus the number of increase ng spike ng stock market, do the math, yun yung kinita mo for that specific timeline. That is a stock market. Pwedeng tumaas, pwedeng bumaba. Okay? High risk, high return, low risk, low return. But we'll perhaps, let's have a discussion on another time about stock market. All right? So in summary, in passive income, one source could be your rental property, another one could be businesses and investment. Are you still with me, guys? Can I have a thumbs up for people here? Thank you, thank you. Thank you for listening. Okay, so let me just, oops, nawala lang yung aking. Let me just, nawala yung aking cursor. One moment lang, guys. All right, there you go. Are you still with me, guys? Yeah. So let me just go back to my presentation. Again, when it comes to passive income, rentals property could be a source of your passive income, and another one is business. Moving forward, from financial planning to having your own savings to creating your passive income, it's also important to look into the insurance side of things. Why is insurance important? Familiar ba kayo sa insurance? Okay. Am I sharing my screen? Hello po. Can you still hear me, guys?
Yeah, Jabar, we can hear you. Yung screen
Okay.
is,
nawala lang yung screen, no? Sige. Sorry, ah. There you go. Okay. Some glitches lang on technology. So the fourth element or the factor that I'd like to share with you is insurance. So why is it important? According to entrepreneur.com, insurance means a protection against loss for which you pay a certain sum periodically in exchange for a guaranteed payout that you'll be compensated under stipulated conditions for any specified loss caused by fire, accident, death, etc. In other words, it's an income replacement. Okay, it's not a gain because you lost something talaga definitely. It can be death, fire, or accident. So insurance is an income replacement. Insurance can be in the form of life insurance, accident insurance, or medical insurance. I think one of the industries that really profited during the pandemic is the insurance kasi mas naging aware ang tao. A lot of people would veer away from insurance. They don't believe, but actually it's very important that we are insured, okay? Whether it be life insurance, medical or accidental insurance. Why? Because I'll give you a scenario. But before we continue on, the question is, a lot of people or my clients would tell me, Jabar, insured na ako. But the question is, are you adequately insured? Let me just give you a very quick math. Diba? So let's say, for example, an individual or perhaps a couple is spending 30,000 every month. Okay? Ito na yung conservative expenses because if you're like paying for your Meralco, for your mortgage, magkano yun? That's 10 to 15,000 plus your water, your other bills. So pwedeng groceries and other things and even tuitions and pabaon sa mga anak and everything, aabot talaga yan ng more or less 30,000 or even more every month. Okay? Multiply that in 12 months. That's how much? 360,000 times 10 years. So the total expense of a single family unit could reach to 3.6 million. 3.6 million is actually the ideal insurance coverage also of the provider, of the breadwinner. It could be the father or the mother or combination. That's the ideal insurance coverage. Why? Because if something happens to the breadwinner, at least it will allow your family to recuperate from a certain loss. Kasi tayo ang source of income or the breadwinner. So the 3.6 million will allow the family to just recuperate while they're still looking for perhaps another source of income, another job, or another business. It could be half, pwedeng 5 years lang, pwedeng 1.8 million. Depende sa kakayahan ng tao. So, this is not included the inflation. When we say inflation, ito yung pagtaas at pagbaba ng piso. Ang inflation, let's say for example, kung ang pamasahe ng jeep dati during my time, when I first encountered, yan, malalaman nyo na yung edad ko, no? When I first went out at sumakay ng jeep, umaabot pa lang siya ng 2 pesos. 2 pesos pag sumasakay ako ng jeep. Ewan ko sa inyo kung magkano kayo nagsimula. You can type on the chat box perhaps, no? Nung lumabas kayo at nag-start kayo mag-jeep nung bata kayo. But now it's almost 10. Can you imagine? That was more than 30 years ago. 30 years ago, 2 pesos ang pamasahe, but now it's more than 10. That is inflation. Diba? Lumalaki ang cost of living natin over time. Dito wala pang inflation dito. But just so, 30,000 times 12 months times 10 years, that's the ideal insurance. When you buy an insurance, it doesn't mean that you have to pay it outright 3.6 million, correct? You just have to pay roughly 30% of it. Or even less kung bata ka, mas mura yan. So that's around 1.2 million. 1.2 million can be payable in 10 years. Mind you, there are programs, there are financial insurance programs that will allow you to pay it for roughly 10 years. That's basically 120,000. You divide it in 12 months, you're just going to provide 10,000 every month. Or in other words, you just have to save 333 pesos a day out of your daily earnings. That's 330 pesos a day. Jabar, ang mahal naman yun. Well, hindi siya mahal. Kasi yun yung expenses nyo eh. Yun yung cost of living nyo. And it's not a rocket science because you're spending 30,000 to maintain the cost of living and lifestyle of your family, of your economic household. Yun yung base niyan. So that's why I hope you see the importance of insurance. Why? If anything happens, the family will continue on living and to pay their bills and to pay the education of their kids and so on and so forth. And that's the beauty and philosophy of insurance. If I may share something lang, I remember last year, dito sa lugar namin, of course, there are some people who didn't make it during pandemic, who weren't able to survive the pandemic, who failed to survive. Right now, maswerte tayo, maluwag na, nagka-face-to-face ng mga school. But last year, 2 years ago, my tita and my lola passed away dun sa kabilang bahay dito sa right side ko. Last year naman, my cousin, who is just 26 years old, very promising. He passed away. Dito siya nakatira sa left side naman ng bahay ko. Napagitnaan kami. And she was just 26, single. Can you imagine? And yun, so we were saddened by her death. 7 days in the hospital ICU. And to cut the long story short, we were surprised that meron pala siyang insurance. And times 2 yung value ng insurance niya, that's worth 1 million. Of course, that's not the value of her life. But of course, it gave the parents, my tita and tito, enough to recuperate from the loss. And now they're trying to repair their house at gagawing rental ng tito at tita ko. That could be another passive income of them. So those are just classic story of the importance of insurance. I tell you guys, believe in it. Believe in it. So that's just a very concrete short example. According to Attorney Angelo Cabrera of the book Thy Will Be Done, it's a book about estate tax and estate planning. Madalas naririnig nyo ngayon yan, but that's another story altogether. Insurance is the cheapest commodity to pay for your future financial obligation. Insurance is the cheapest commodity to pay for your future financial obligations. Why? Because whether you like it or not, we all have financial obligations. Any form of transfer of ownership. Kung halimbawa, ang nanay at tatay mo mayroong mga ari-arian worth 100 million, for example, if they transfer it to you, they have to pay the BIR roughly 10 to 15%, and that's 10 to 15 million, correct? Eh, paano kung hindi pa na-transfer yun, at hindi na asikaso, and something happens before you get the title of those property, before you acquire it, before the acquisition happens, you have to pay for it. But if they are insured adequately enough, let's say 10 million, 15 million, then the insurance company will pay for it. You don't have to shell out the 10, 15 million to pay the BIR. That's just an example of it. That's why it's the cheapest commodity to pay for your future financial obligations. Okay? Are you still with me, guys? I hope you are. Thank you. We're down to the last element of our financial literacy 101 presentation. The last one would be loans or utang. Hindi ko natatanungin dito kung sino ang may mga utang, no, or taas ang kamay. But I'm pretty sure many of us here would experience, no, mangutang or magkautang. Well, to be upfront, ang utang ay hindi masama. Basta alam lang natin ang purpose kung para saan ang loan. Let me define first what loan is. Loan is a sum of money that one or more individuals or companies borrow from banks or other financial institutions so as to financially manage planned or unplanned events. Diba? This is according to corporate finance institution. Now, you do, like, let's say for example, credit card. You use credit card for emergencies. Diba? Bills for the hospital, nagkaroon ng emergency, and health right now can be expensive, or definitely is expensive, and we don't know when it will hit us again. Diba? All of us, no excuses. But loan should be paid on time. That's one. And at the same time, obtain a loan to be more productive. You want to have a loan, you are going to loan on a financial institution because you want to use that money for perhaps put up a business that will give you passive income eventually. That's one purpose of the loan. Paikutin mo lang ang pera mo. Even big businesses like the SM group of companies and other conglomerates, they have loans, diba, in big financial institutions. And it's good. Diba? Sometimes nga sa ibang bansa when you go abroad, tinitignan ng loan credit mo eh. Diba? So it's very important that, but you just have to know the purpose of your loan. Okay? You do loan to be productive and not for consumption alone. Okay? Alam natin yan. Okay? So, to sum up, okay, we're almost done with our presentation. I hope you're still with me. We're still 350 in the room. Thank you, guys. So, again, there are 3 factors that will help us gauge our financial literacy. 1, financial plan. Do we have a plan? Do we have a goal? And how are we going to lay that down? Second, do you have enough savings to fund that plan, that goal? Diba? Third, do you have enough passive income that could be a source also of that goals of ours? And then third, do you have insurance so that during time of loss, if something happens, my family, my children, my loved ones can continue on with their education, with their living, with their cost of living, with their economic household, and so on and so forth. And lastly, of course, do I have less loan? Or do I have no loan? So if you check all of those, you can ask yourself right now, okay, do I have a check on this? Perhaps hindi pa, so for the students, for the workforce, perhaps to all our faculties, pwede natin tanungin ang ating mga sarili. Nasaan na tayo dito? And if it's a check, then you could even, try to grade it. In a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is the highest. Financial planning, nasan ako? Am I a 6, an 8, or a 9, or a 10? Savings, ganun din. Am I a 10 or a 5? Da, 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 da. Now, if you're missing some checks on these 5 factors that I've just shared with you, then perhaps it's time to revisit, diba? Some of the things. Okay. Now, in the end, is my financial literacy high, medium, or low? You'll be the judge of that. Okay? You'll be the judge of that. Honesty is the best policy. Ikaw lang talaga makakasagot yan. Because finance is a very personal thing, actually. So from now on, more than investing on other things, material things, the goal is actually to achieve better financial literacy. And one way of doing that is to invest on yourself. Gaya ng pag-attend nyo dito. I'm totally really grateful for you guys listening to me and for the stamina for listening to my presentation. Okay, we are about to end our presentation, but before that, remember the bonus presentation I have for you. Okay, so I'll be sharing to you a short clip, rather, a video clip, 5-minute video clip about Happy Money. Happy Money is a book authored by Ken Honda. Ken Honda is a Japanese author, a businessman, also a financial consultant as well. And I once saw this over YouTube, and I became so obsessed with him, and it resonated on me, all of her philosophies and all of his concept, and I hope it can also resonate on you. So I want you to turn your attention on this video presentation. Listen to it. Let me just check if I shared. Let me just share the sound lang po. One moment. There you go. Here. So once again, I want you to turn your attention on the video, and let's enjoy.
It's not necessary to have a life of struggle with money. I have been learning and teaching about money and prosperity for many years, starting out in Japan as a very young man, working with my father, who was a successful accountant. Later, I was fortunate to have a mentor whose name is Wahei Takeda, from whom I learned this amazing thing about appreciation and gratitude. Mr. Takeda was a major financial titan of Japan. You could say he was your Warren Buffett in America. He was very famous for his kind heart and happy attitude, and for giving away his genuine solid gold coins. From my mentor, I learned that the mind is always looking to reinforce its point of view. That's why cultivating an attitude of appreciation will draw into your life reasons for you to appreciate even more. My first introduction to Happy Money came some years ago when a Japanese woman introduced herself to me at a party. She said, "Ken, can I look into your wallet?" She went on to explain that money can laugh or cry, be happy or sad when it is given with a certain energy or feeling.
300,000 yen is a lot of money, son. But some things in life are worth it.
She was looking to see if my wallet contains happy money or unhappy money. "Good news," she told me. "Ken, your money is smiling." She said, on the other hand, if the money is given out of guilt, anger, or frustration, the money could be crying.
We never save enough money.
We never earn enough money.
Even though I was financially well off at the time, and I thought I knew a lot about money, I was really taken aback by these insights. And for the first time ever, I started to think of money as energy.
When I first read through Happy Money, the thing that really stuck with me was the scarcity mindset and abundance mindset. When you realize how abundant life really is, and you kind of stick with that and you're just grateful for everything, everything kind of seems to flow back to you, and it's really worked out that way in my life.
We're all programmed by parents, schools, and culture around the scarcity of money. There's never enough. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to struggle to get money. Anything?
Money is dirty.
That's great, Ine. From this, I learned that there are secret agendas and biases that are all attached to our ideas about money. And identifying those can make all the difference in life.
I'm doing what I love for a living. I wake up in the morning and I'm so grateful. It's like I'm living my purpose.
This isn't just your normal self-help book about money. This is about money as an energy flow, and it can really transform everything you think about money and therefore your life.
What's in your wallet? Is your money smiling or not? If money was a person, who would it be? Kind and gentle or cold and mean?
When we understand what happy money is, then happy money is our pathway to happy life.
Money can be happy or it can be sad.
Ken is a walking example of what he's teaching. When you're practicing those principles, your life around money absolutely transforms. And Ken's book will tell you how to do that.
Many people ask me why I wrote this book. Many years ago, when my daughter was just a little baby, I had a strange dream. In my dream, my daughter came to me, 18 years old. She said to me, "Daddy, you may have some money, but you're doing nothing in the world." From that time on, everything changed. My priorities become clear. We are all told, go to school, get a job, you'll be set for life. But we all know there is more to it than that. There is another way as well. Everything I learned from my mentor, that the key to money and to all things is understanding and appreciation. That when I learned how to develop appreciation, mysteriously, life somehow brings you more to appreciate. When it comes to money, that's true too. Perhaps it is more easily understood in my culture, Japanese culture. It doesn't come natural. We all have to learn. I learned the practice, and you can too. I call it happy money.
There you have it. So that's Ken Honda, the author of Happy Money. I hope you like it. Can I just have a thumbs up and a heart icon or a smiley, a happy smiley there if you've appreciated that video? You know what, guys? Ken Honda, I find it, although we don't know each other personally, but I find it very resonating to me in a very personal level, because I've also the type of person who struggled with my finances and money over a very long period of time. It doesn't mean that I'm sharing financial literacy here. I'm already well off that much, you know. But I've lost, I've gained, I've lost, I've gained. But the most important thing, I think, when I came to bump into this concept, to this principle, is that what is your relationship with your money, with your finances? And I think that's very important. Something that is not being taken into consideration. Like when you give, maybe to your parents, to your mother, to your family, to your partner, whomever. Is it a happy money? It is a money full of gratitude. And madalas, di ba, pag may pumasok sa ating pera, thank you. Pag may lumabas, galit. Di ba? But actually, let's also be thankful. When money is coming out from our pocket and wallet and our account, it means that merong paglalagyan yung pera yun. May purpose, and somebody will benefit from it. So let's be grateful with that. Okay? The first part of my presentation is all about IQ, financial IQ. Now, happy money is all about EQ. What is your energy with your money? And again, that is something even more personal. Attitude of gratitude has helped me to become more equipped with my finances in terms of managing it and budgeting it. Sometimes wala masyadong kita, sometimes there is. But whatever happens at the end of the day, I'm always grateful in so many ways, in so many ways. I actually keep my gratitude journal every day, every morning. So to end, the rich invest in time. Time is limited. Diba? 24/7 lang tayo lahat. And we don't know when will be our time. That's why I'm in the insurance business. We don't know when. Diba? Kasi kung alam natin, then we don't need insurance. But the thing is, we don't know when. So invest on time by investing on yourself to become more financially literate. And the poor invest only in money. Okay? Money, your bank account, your all of your acquisitions, your car, whatever material things that you have, these are just good keeping scores or metrics or score system. It's just a manifestation of how literate you are. But literacy is not just here, but it's also here. Okay? And it will be a better world for us if we could consider these two, no, our IQ and our EQ when it comes to money. That is by Warren Buffett. So to end, just a few promotion. You can be part of my coaching program under my team. I am part of an insurance financial company. That is my number. You can just contact me freely. That is my business number. And you can also click my vlog. You know, hopefully I could earn from my vlog eventually. Jabar Kadas, Positibong Buhay. And thank you so much for having me this afternoon. I guess that's it. Arigatou gozaimasu. Maraming salamat. Back
Wow,
to
thank
you,
you very
over.
much. Yeah, thank you very much, Jabar. That was very, very enlightening. That was very, very insightful. And like you said, very, very similar then. I'm really, really glad that our students were able to hear those insights at such an early point in their lives. And as you know, as future professionals, the one of the things that we plotted for this week-long celebration is that as for future professionals, people who are just at the start of their, parang they're just um, realizing their potential, talks like these would be very, very beneficial for them. I think maybe before we can start, our question and answers, um, maybe if you were at that point in time, like they are students right now, what financial advice would you give your past self? Kung halimbawa, ganito rin ang situation, you're a student, you're just beginning your professional career, what financial advice would you give to your past self?
Thank you for that, Judel. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, the same thing that I've mentioned a while ago. Invest on yourself. When you invest on yourself, you'll never lose. There will be no loss. Invest on this and on this because that is true wealth. You can lose money anytime, eh. 'Di ba? Dumaan lang ang bagyo sa atin, lumipad ang bahay natin. Lahat 'yan pwedeng mawala in one snap. But here, true wealth is here and here. And that's something that can be taken away from you. So invest on yourself. It might take some time for you to develop it. That's why if you have somebody right now, perhaps a mentor, a very good mentor who really would look after you, you are blessed to have them. Take good care of that relationship. That's it.
Wow, thank you. Invest in yourself. Tama yung sinabi mo na, the heart, the here and here, those are the things that you as students, can really invest in. All right, let's move on to the chat box. You can now start writing down your questions and your comments. Kagaya na sinabi ni Maria Grace, sa kultura natin, we tend to support our family and other families' financial needs. Yeah, it's something that's very inherent sa atin, the extended family. We also, even if, for example, professional ka na, you're still with your parents. And then if you get married, you also take care of your extended family. In reality, it would take years of working before we can invest or even save. What are your thoughts dito sa comment na ito, Jabar? Dun sinabi niya, it will take years of working before we can invest or even save.
Okay, so Maria Grace, thank you for that question. That's very interesting. And it's actually a reality for many of us, if not for all of us. And I appreciate your honesty. But at the end of the day, you know what I would say, Maria Grace, no, it's actually a mindset. Though it's happening right now, sabi ko nga, it may take some time for you to be able to free yourself from that certain obligation. Um, but change starts from you, eh, diba? Um, your finance is an inside job. How you become successfully financially successful is an inside job. It's in you. Um, you can be eventually, as you journey with your professional life, you'll be more assertive, not aggressive. Huh? You'll be more assertive in telling to them, hey, there's also a limit, you know, in how I can help you, because when they become too dependent on you, then that means you're not helping them, diba? You also give them a fair chance to be able to fend for themselves, because at the end of the day, may pangarap ka rin. Agree? Diba? So not helping them, perhaps in your perspective right now, over time, could also be a way of helping them eventually. Because we cannot underestimate everybody's talents and potential. I'm pretty sure may talent yung mga yang pamilya mo, di ba? And they can do online selling. Ang dami ngayong pwedeng pagkakitaan, mind you. Everybody is into online selling. That could be one. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, thank you, Jabar, and I hope, yeah, Maria Grace, if you can give comments again. And you know what, Jabar, while you were talking a while ago, when you were doing your talk, I saw some comments from our students about how they were like practicing the 20-50-30 rule, even if they're students. And I think one thing that they miss for now is yung baon. Kasi nga, wala na tayong face-to-face. Walang baon. I think I'm really glad yung mga students na iba nagsabi na nung panahon pa na may face-to-face at may baon sila, nakakapag-ipon. So, what's your take, what's your advice doon sa mga estudyanteng ganun, even at this early stage, they're kind of practicing the 20-50-30 rule?
Well, right now, again, let's not underestimate our creativity. Kung walang baon, you know, you can use whatever talent you have. You can sell. For example, during my time, I remember when I was younger, even up to now, I paint kasi and I draw. I sell my paintings. I sell my drawings. You know, what's stopping me from doing that online? Wala kang ang babayaran na upa dyan when you do online selling, correct? Diba? That again could be, you could be really creative. You can go out of the way. Don't limit yourself. There's so many ways. It's just at the tip of your fingers to help yourself, you know, learn more. Ang swerte nga natin, di ba? GIG lang lahat. Google it, girl. You can just Google anything in the world. You know, I remember just a tip. Right now, di ba, mabenta ang what's that Korean band? The Korean band. BTS, you know, create something out of BTS and sell it online. I'm pretty sure a lot of BTS fan, yung army nila would buy it.
Army dyan, ha?
Oo, yung army would buy that, diba? That's you know, I want you to for that question, diba, yung nawalan ng baon. Perhaps hindi pa ngayon yung time, but when you work, then you can fully practice that. You can go full swing practicing the 20-50-30 rule. But right now, you can be creative in how to apply it, diba? At least you have already you can foresee it already how to apply it.
All right, thank you. Yung question na nababasahin ko sa susunod, medyo related to sa sinabi mo kanina about your paintings. You know, a lot of people doing now, they're doing their paintings and creating them into NFTs, non-fungible tokens. So I think related yung question niya. Cryptocurrency, a form of passive income. Maybe we can brush a little bit on that. Non-fungible tokens, cryptocurrencies, the new economy, the Web3 that they're calling.
Yeah, I've heard of cryptocurrency being a unit manager in my insurance team, diba? Some of my agents are actually into it, but I haven't really explored it. You know, I don't know, medyo may konting resistance ako dyan, so I would be honest, you know. But yeah, there are a lot of people who are actually earning from it, but you just have to be careful, you know, what platform should you use. It has to be legitimate, and I don't see anything wrong with that. So you just have to study it even more. So if it works for you, sabi ko nga, you can take the risk, basta make sure that whatever money that you will put there is a disposable money. When we say disposable money, yung kaya mong i-let go, because it's a risk, diba? Everything that you will, when it comes to investment, especially stocks or cryptocurrency, may risk yan eh, may losses yan eh. Make sure whatever money you put there is something that you are willing to lose. You know, kurot lang sa'yo. Wag masyadong dakot. Otherwise, baka masakit. 'Di ba?
Hit
Yun
right.
lang yung ma-advise ko sa'yo, 'di ba? So, yun lang.
Sabi mo nga rin kanina, big risk, big investment, big risk, low investment,
Low risk, low return, high
no
risk, high
return.
return.
Yeah, tama. All right. So think about it very carefully, before you do that. Someone is asking if you could give your 20-year-old self what advice would you give financially after. I think we talked about that kanina. And then there's a question from Ella Marie. She's saying, paano po ba mag-iipon? Nag-struggle po kasi ako sa pag-iipon. I think this is a question that we can all relate to, or maybe a lot of you are relating to this.
Yes, totoo yan. Sino yung nag-question kung sino man yun, no? Totoo yan, no? It's really a struggle. Even in my stage of life right now, no? Talagang kailangan dinadaya mo talagang appetite mo sa spending, eh. So actually, aside from, syempre may mga bank accounts tayo, diba? So yan, mag-iipon ako dyan, mag-allocate ako dyan, automatic yan. But then again, sometimes because lagi kong dala yung card ko, one swipe away, that's it. Down the drain yung ipon ko, diba? So what I do, ito effort din to sa akin, mind you, I still believe in alkansya. I have alkansya in my cabinet. I tell you, and every morning after I do my ritual, my meditation, and my prayer, I just put $100 there or so every day. And in 1 month, nakaka 3,000 plus ako, di ba? And can you imagine, check ko lang yun, tapos itatabi ko yan. Kasi pag lumabas na ako, hindi ko na siya magagastos. Diba? And also try to veer away from online shopping.
Marami nagsabi sa akin, marami kanina nagsabi, install na raw nila ang apps nila like Shopee at Lazada.
Yes, i-uninstall niyo yan. Make sure i-install niyo lang siya talaga pagka from time to time, 'di ba? Let's reward ourselves. But if you can uninstall it, mas maganda. Because out of sight, out of mind. Pag nandyan kasi yan sa phone natin, it's easy to click. And that's, the thing about technology kasi, they know the human behavior. Eh. So that's why it's there. So kaya nga minsan, you just have to really discipline. Discipline is the key din. Eh, no? It takes a lot of muscle to build that certain discipline for yourself. Ilayo mo yung phone mo. Kung matutulog ka, halimbawa, di ba, there's a rule. For example, me, sleeping. Sometimes madalas hawakan natin ang phone natin bago matulog. What I do an hour before sleeping, I try to really put away my phone so that I would ready myself to sleep. Otherwise, baka may mapindot akong Shopee dyan or kung anong marketplace dyan sa Facebook, di ba? So it's part of, creating discipline for yourself.
Yan. So sa mga add to cart gang dyan.
Add to cart. Correct.
Meron tayong question. This is quite interesting as well. Sabi, sa ating, may paniniwala, sabi ni Brian Parr pala nagtanong nito. What can you say that people who believe that saving money is like preparing yourself for your death? Parang, what word would you give to debunk this parang communal reinforcement, sabi ni Brian?
Mm-hmm. Well, in the first place, whether you like it or not, we'll all die. Diba? Whether you don't believe in death or not, it's gonna happen sooner or later. But I think to get out of that mentality, again, it's mindset. Money is just not for you yourself. Eh. There are other people in your circle who will also benefit from it. Isipin natin yan, diba? That's why, for example, me, I wanted to expand my finances, put up my team, my business, and all, because there are other people who would benefit from it. Doon ko siya tinitignan eh. So, it's all perspective. So, I guess, that's why educating ourselves about finances is very important for us to give us a fair chance to give ourselves other angle to the scenario, di ba? Kasi pag isang angulo lang ang tinitignan natin, then talagang you might believe it's just a preparation for your death, but actually it's more than that. There are other people who might benefit from it as well. I hope I answered that question well.
Thank you. Another crypto-related question. Kasi the question comes from Ma'am Malu Di Makali. May investments daw sila in Axie. But now SLP is low. So what can you say? I think babalik ulit tayo dun sa usapan about yung fluctuations, especially in the crypto world.
Yeah. Yeah, agree. So investment, high risk, high return, low risk, low return. And sometimes, timing is very important when it comes to investment. There will come a time, for example, if you pull your money during the time of pandemic and you're in a panic mode, psychology of the market yan eh. You're in a panic mode and then sabi, ay shit, ano na naman to? People
Scam.
are panicking, 'di ba? Or scam or whatsoever that, and you want to pull your money, then matatalo ka. But if you just let it, if it's a legit institution, by the way, you have to have your research first. And if it's a legit institution, it's just paper loss. You call it technical term, paper loss lang yan. Because it will recuperate over time. Magi-spike din yan. Katulad ngayon, di ba? It's like oil price hike. Oil price hike lately, tas ngayon may rollback naman. Di ba? So, timing is very important when it comes to investment. Tatimingan lang natin talaga. No? There is a fundamentals to it. That's just another discussion altogether
Yeah.
aside. But investment is ganun eh. May taas, may baba yan. But relatively, and ito guys, when it comes to investment, kung long-term investment ang horizon mo, 10 years minimum, hindi ka matatalo dyan. Because, you have enough time because of the fluctuation. Kikita at kikita yan. Just make sure that the money that you're putting into your investment is something that is disposable. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo siya gagamitin anytime soon. At
Yeah.
papaikutin mo lang siya dyan.
Oh, I recall yung example mo kanina about Jollibee, no? Yung buying it, kunwari, at 80 pesos. And then you made the decision to buy it at 80 pesos, and then suddenly it goes up again to 500 kunwari. Remember,
Yeah.
there was a time Globe was at 10 pesos, and now it's like 2,000, 3,000. If you, for example, you got 1,000 shares of Globe that time.
Yes, correct, Judel, no? I agree on that. And that's telecommunication. So, pag-aaralan nyo rin kung anong industry yung talagang ginagamit madalas ng mga tao, ng mga consumers. Food, telecommunication, energy, yan yung magagandang real estate. Yan yung magagandang industry na pwede niyong pagtignan kung pag-aaralan niyo yung mga company. And by the way, if it's too good to be true ang investment, it's a red flag.
Yes.
Okay? Kung masyadong sasabihan nila kayo, malaki ang return nyo, make your own research, please. Pag-aralan nyo. Ask people. Ask me if you want. Pwede nyo magtanongin. I can give you free consultation if you want. Just, you can Google it.
Yeah, flash mo yung number mo ulit later on. But then,
Sige.
you'll extend that even to kanina yung questions about cryptocurrencies. If you do your research correctly, and you really take a look at the fundamentals, ika nga, no, then you should be okay when it comes to all of these. So, ang next question also comes, G-Invest naman. How would you think? Is G-Invest safe when it comes to investing?
Come again? Sorry, Judel.
Yung G-Invest. This comes from Evie Morris, G-Invest, the app from it's the GCash.
GCash, G-Invest. Again,
Yeah.
GCash, as I think, is a legit company. I haven't studied it. I haven't tried it. But if you think it's a good opportunity for you, meron ngang comment dito from Kebalios, Gestril. Invest what you can afford to lose. Because you can lose that actually. Remember, it's not always gaining when it comes to investment. Okay? Even if it's GCash, you can lose that. I remember I invested in, what's this? Kalimutan ko yung brokerage na yun. Investment something. There was a time tumubo yung pera ko. Nag-invest ako 10,000, naging 15,000. Hindi ko na timingan. Bumalik sa 8,000. So I lost 2,000. And I needed that money that time to pay for my tuition or something. So I have to pull it. May talo ako ng 2,000. And that's part of it. That's part of the risk. Diba? Sinubukan ko lang. So if you want to try it, just make sure that, sabi nga dito nung last comment here, invest what you can afford to lose. I cannot guarantee you, even the expert, the financial expert, cannot predict what's going to happen, diba, in our economy, in the status of the economy. We can only study historical performance of certain funds or certain platform. Yun lang. You can just connect the dots backward, but saying if it's going to earn that much, it takes a lot of expertise. Then I'm not really that a full blast hedge fund manager expert, no. But my expertise is really into insurance, a little of investment, because in the insurance world, meron na rin mga tinatawag na VUL, variable unit link life insurance, wherein insurance ka na may investment ka ba? No things like that. But if you think it's gonna help you learn, diba? It's gonna help you invest on yourself. You can still take the risk, then go for it.
Right. May mga parang pa-joke na comment na like for example to si Micaela was saying mag-i-invest daw sila sa photo cards. But I think kagaya na sinabi mo kanina, you can use their creativity. If you know photo cards, I mean yung photo cards kasi ngayon 'di ba mga fans ng NMIX, ng Kepler, ng TXT, ng BTS, ng kung ano-ano pang mga K-pop, kung alam yung malaking bagay ang photo card, then maybe instead of you investing in photo cards, maybe you can think about some creative ways by which you can convert that love for photo cards that's going on right now into something that would be lucrative for you. How would you say dun sa statement na yun, Jabar?
Well, again, agree with you. It takes, that's your creative part. And also, I was thinking kanina, tag dito, you can just try it on your own, and it's a trending right now. So sometimes, diba, psychology of the market yan eh. We go into trending, subukan nga natin ito. And again, if just manage the risk that you want to put into that type of investment platform, if it is. Actually, I'm not familiar with that, no? Medyo may kaedaran na rin kasi tayo, Judel. So, iba na rin yung mga nagiging priority ko. But if you think, especially hanga ako sa mga kabataan ngayon that they are so exposed into so many platforms right now, and, you try it. You're still young. Well, majority of us here, diba?
All right. Thank you very much. And there parang a lot of questions let's see if we there's a question. I'm scrolling through your questions, but many of them are mostly affirmations of the things that you said, like parang iwas na sa Shopee, iwas na sa Lazada, and tamang pag-invest lang sa crypto and photo cards. May tanong about gold. What would you say about investing in gold?
Well, gold has always been a classic form of investment, diba? Hindi nawawala ang value niyan. But just make sure that it's a legit, institution where you will invest your money, then go for it. If it's, even right now, diba, yung mga ala-ala, sinasabi ng mga magulang natin, it's a form of investment, especially during emergency. I witnessed that to my mom, diba, in times of emergency, kailangan niya talagang magsanla. So, it can be a form of investment also during emergency time. So, I guess it's good. Gold has always been a good commodity.
Habang nagsasalita kami, nagtanong about jewelry. So, tama-tama yung sagot ni Jabar. Right. It seems that we've run out of questions. Any other habol na questions? If none,
there's a question here about AXA. Sige. Well,
AXA.
I cannot speak for the company. All life insurances are good. You always go for, especially the global companies. Global companies are very good. I'm part of ManuLife. Okay, I'm not gonna hide that. No, but I've been with AXA also way back. Sometimes you just go for greener pasture. Literally, ManuLife is green. So AXA is good. In partnership, locally partner siya ng Metro Bank. You just go for this. Life insurance has been operating for like 450 years, more than. Diba? Globally speaking, AXA is a French company. So, ManuLife is a Canadian company, Sun Life is a Canadian company, ProLife is in UK, diba? The only local insurance company that can compete with this is Insular Life. It's a Filipino-owned company. And these are actually good companies, guys. So, I don't know what's your specific question about AXA. Are you going to invest there?
Maybe you can write that again. It's Michelle. What's your specific question about AXA? Are you going to take life insurance there? Are you going to take? Maybe you can follow that up. Ito, buy low, sell high. Good strategy. So mukhang may nagbabasa ito ng konti. Sometimes kasi people will say buy high, sell higher. So what's your take, Jabar, dito?
Again, yes, thank you, Judel. Again, this is an element of timing, diba? Even I'm a collector of toys, medyo expensive yung toys na nako-collect ko. And sometimes I would time it. There are people who will let go of, for example, there was a time the Avengers toys are very low, the Avengers one, so I'll buy it. Kasi alam ko yung market value nito before. And tapos biglang nagtaas because of certain, naging hype na naman siya. So some of it, if I will let go of it, I will sell it on perhaps a much higher price. You can even apply that kind of concept, even in toys. Even in real estate, ganun din, diba? You would, let's say for example, I'll give you an example, real estate. Most of the time, when you buy pre-selling units, condo units or properties, diba, usually it's low. It's on a low price kasi binubuo pa siya, diba? Anything can happen. But the good thing about it is maliit lang yung ilalabas mong pera. That's buy low. And then eventually, pag buo na siya, diba, it can triple, quadruple the market value price. I remember my sister bought a unit way back in Makapagal. Okay, she bought it at around 2.5 million. But right now it's 7 million. O, di ba? Wala kang hirap. But in the beginning, of course, you would take that risk. And she can take that risk because she's earning enough. Because she's in a high position in their company. So things like that. And it takes some time. By the way, guys, for the young people right here, this takes some time. A lot of learnings, a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom. Okay, so yun. But I hope I'm answering your questions well.
Yeah, and thank you. Biglang pumasok about crypto again. How does Bitcoin make money?
Again, I'm not a big fan of the cryptocurrency Bitcoin, but they say it works. I have some agents in my team, under my team, who does that. And if you're the type of person who can actually allocate time every day to monitor the ups and the downs of your investment, then go for it. I don't have much time to monitor it every day. I would just hire somebody, a fund manager, to do that for me.
Yeah. I think the value then of cryptocurrencies is very, very similar to stocks because the value fluctuates. But this time, if you are monitoring stocks, that you would monitor stocks in days and even in weeks. No, but for cryptocurrencies, if you guys are into cryptocurrency, the monitoring for cryptos is even within the span of a day. It fluctuates in value, and yun lang yung similar to what we were talking about. If you're buying stocks, ito yung the value that the market gives doon sa it could be any cryptocurrency, even SLPs, no. It's all in the value. Kaya sinasabi ni Jabar kanina about the timing. It's all even in stocks. I think more of the timing. So meron tuloy nag-comment, if you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Sabi ni Crypto. Okay. I think medyo tumahimik na meron pang humabol ulit. What book would you recommend for us to read? Kanina may nagsabi Rich Dad Poor Dad ni Kiyosaki, and then now you have Happy Money. Any other books would you like to recommend for us to read in terms of financial literacy?
Yeah. Rich Dad Poor Dad. And in fact, aside from Rich Dad Poor Dad, yung 4 Quadrants din ni Robert Kiyosaki, that's also a good, that's I think his second or third book, wherein the cash flow, doon din sinilang yung cash flow game niya. If you played that, the cash flow game of Robert Kiyosaki. So that's a good book. Also, you can just watch it over YouTube. Actually, meron din naman silang mga tawag dito, audiobooks, no? Another one, of course, Happy Money, and also yung Thy Will Be Done ni Attorney Angelo Cabrera. That's a good book. Medyo technical lang yung mga terms nun, but it's good, especially when you are into finance and you wanted to create high-end clientele for yourself, and you want to explain to them what is estate tax, estate planning eventually in the future, then that's a good book. Thy Will Be Done by Attorney Cabrera.
All right. Thank you for those recommendations. So, tama-tama, as students, if you want to build them for yourself in the future, please do grab a copy of those books. I think, ngayon, very digital na. You can get those books on Amazon. You can get those books on Google Play Books. A lot of, I do my readings ngayon through those digital platforms by buying them from Amazon or from Google Play. So thank you very much for answering all of our questions. And we've almost come to the end of our session, but before we we end everything, we'd like to present you with this certificate, albeit virtually. Let me just pin the the screen. So we would like to present this certificate of appreciation, hereby presented to Mr. Jabar Esmael for his contribution as a session speaker in financial literacy during the School of Arts, Sciences, and Technology SOAS Week 2022 with the theme SOASTigin ng Sarili, Bayan at Kinabukasan, School of Arts, Sciences, and Technology Innovation towards Self-Development and Nation Building for the Future, given this held this March 28 to April 1, and it's signed by our Dean Soling S. Duque, and our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Edison A. Fermin. So thank you very much, Jabar. And any other words of encouragement before we end this session today?
Well, Judel, thank you so much. I guess I've already laid down all of my words of wisdom, but again, siguro lang for young people out there, because I'm also a mental health advocate also. What I just want you to have right now is to just enjoy your youth. Enjoy nyo lang your youth. Keep on learning. Sabi nga ni Steve Jobs, stay hungry, stay foolish. But not foolish, but just be hungry enough to learn more. And because eventually, time will come and a moment will choose you and you will be the contributor of the community. So just be ready for it. As you continue to acquire a lot of learnings, as you continue to equip yourself, eventually you'll be part of the people who will be the contributor to the community to also equip other young generation. So that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. It was indeed a very, very wonderful afternoon spent with our guest speaker, Jabar. And again, we would like to thank you for that. And so we are time check. It's around 2:35. What will happen now is our faculty members will be distributing our evaluation link in a short time. So what we'll do is for the next 20 minutes or so, please do spend some time in answering the evaluation form. And we will also take this time right now to do some technical checks as we facilitate the transition to our next session at 3 o'clock. Okay, so in the meantime, please stay with us on the Zoom link, and we will be distributing the G form pretty soon so that you will be able to answer that. So thank you very much once again. Please stay on the call. We'll just do the transition technical checks before we proceed to our 3 o'clock session. Thank you very much, each and everyone, and have a great day ahead.